Hello and welcome back to another episode of County Perspective, the show that focuses on Frederick County government, local programs and events, and the community that you live in. I'm your host, Brandon Rosa, and thank you for joining us. There's been lots of things happening around the county recently, so let's start some things off with some recent news from Winchester Hall. County Executive Jan Gardner held a retreat with community leaders on Friday, February 8th to set goals for the next 4 years. The group reviewed goals and accomplishments from leadership teams that Executive Gardner created upon taking office in 2014. Those original teams focused on jobs, education, community needs, and seniors. At this year's retreat, participants not only updated recommendations for those 4 topics, they also weighed in on growth and land use issues. Speaking of growth issues, County Executive Gardner recently proposed legislation that would better manage residential development outside of municipalities. She made the announcement during her public information briefing on January 31st. The proposed legislation is designed to limit the use of legal contracts known as Development Rights and Responsibilities Agreements, better known as DRRAs, and to require any future agreements to include an enhanced public benefit for Frederick County taxpayers, such as a new school, recreational facility, or regional roads. Executive Gardner said that her goal was to ensure that new housing is timed with the county's ability to provide roads, schools, and other services so that we maintain our high quality of life. The proposed legislation would limit the use of DRRAs to housing projects with 1,500 or more dwelling units. The new bill would require developers to provide enhanced public benefits, prohibit the freezing of fees during the life of the agreement, clearly present the laws and fees that apply to land development under a DRRA, limit the term of a DRRA to no more than 5 years, with one possible extension of up to 5 years, and specifying requirements for amending an agreement. If you would like to view the draft legislation, go to frederickcountymd.gov/residential growth. Good news for bike enthusiasts in Frederick County. County Executive Jan Gardner announced the formation of a Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee to help prioritize trail projects in the county's 6-year capital improvement program. Executive Gardner made the announcement during her public information briefing on February 7th. The Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee's mission is to support implementation of the Bikeways and Trails Plan and promote bicycling and walking throughout the county. Executive Gardner said that citizens have advocated for a connected network of bikeways and trails across Frederick County. And now we want citizen input on which projects to build first in the 6-year capital improvement program. Also announced during the briefing that day was the membership of a new Adequate Public Facilities Advisory Committee. This committee will review information about school capacities, enrollment, facilities, and growth trends in order to make recommendations about the county's Adequate Public Facilities Ordinance. If you are interested in serving on any of the county's more than 40 boards and commissions, contact Administrative Officer Joyce Grossnickel at 301-600-1102 or via email at fcgboards@frederickcountymd.gov or visit frederickcountymd.gov/boards. Hundreds of community members gathered at the Francis Scott Key Mall for the annual Ag Week celebration on Thursday, February 14th. More than 20 teams ages 8 to 18 from local 4-H and FFA chapter programs competed against one another in an ice cream making contest. Judges could only choose 5 teams and the winners received cash prizes. I was at the event and I had the chance to talk to officials from Frederick County government and the first place contestants. Let's hear what they had to say.
So we're here tonight for ice cream making at Ag Week at the Mall. So we have 4-H and FFA teams from across the county here participating. They're making a homemade ice cream, hand cranking it, so it's our own recipe. And once they're done cranking it and they have ice cream, it's going to be judged by a group of 3 judges. And the top 5 will all receive awards.
This is the 3rd time that I've been a judge for the ice cream tasting contest. We did taste 21 different kinds of ice cream today. And of course they're done by 4-H groups and FFA groups around the county.
So the judges are really judging on flavor. So it's going to taste like real ice cream. I mean, just like the ice cream you buy in a store, but I think it tastes better actually. So they're judging on consistency and flavor and sometimes creativity with their, recipes.
Well, we were the last group to start our actual churning of our ice cream, and we made a pina colada, which is like pineapple and coconut flavored ice cream, and we used a bucket to churn it, and we won first place somehow.
I narrowed it down to several. I like the strawberry shortcake, I like the pineapple coconut that won, I liked the pretzel caramel chocolate, that was pretty good.
We were just looking for kind of something different and maybe like a little bit like easy. I don't know. It ended up being pretty easy because it didn't have many ingredients. Yeah. So we kind of were like, this is kind of interesting. Might be good if it works out. And it ended up working out good.
I think Ag Week's a great thing. I've been involved since I was a kid, coming here to Ag Week at the mall, and it's obviously changed a lot over the years. So Ag Week has been going on for about 45 years here in Frederick County. It's the longest standing one in the state of Maryland. When they were started, there was one in every county, and now Frederick is the only county with one remaining. So it really is about promoting local agriculture to the community. So the mall is a great place to do that for the people that come to the mall. So we can promote about agriculture businesses, opportunities for youth to get involved in agriculture, and really just educate the public.
There was a big turnout today. Of course, the kids were all excited to make their ice cream and to hand crank their ice cream. And they all wanted to eat it, of course, too. That was fun. And of course, their parents and families and all the adults that support these programs were here as well. And so we really have to say thanks to everybody who makes Ag Week at the Mall a great success.
Recently, Frederick County government and the City of Frederick held a joint proclamation for Black History Month. As part of this ceremony, the groups reflected back on the September 15th Tale of the Lion documentary presentation at the Weinberg Center. Tale of the Lion captured the life stories of the oldest African American citizens in Frederick County through their childhood and the segregation they experienced. Let us also take a look back on that day and see what happened during the movie's debut.
Life evening sun is sinking low. A few more days and I must go.
I feel like today is a beautiful reflection of who we are as a community, and that it says a lot about how we can consider the reality historically and today for people whose shoes we haven't walked in.
Many of you may not know or may not realize that we're celebrating this event with a generation of Frederick County African American citizens who are here, many of whom are here for the very first time. In the same theater that was segregated. We're here now to say that that was wrong, and it's in the past, and we recognize sometimes it's great to use what happened in the past as a judge to judge where we are today. Although we have a way to go, this is a prime example of how we can work together and make things happen in a positive way.
In their lifetimes, the people we are honoring today, our living treasures, have gone from being segregated in the balcony of this theater to being honored and welcomed on the red carpet today.
As a community, we take a step forward today. For too long, the life stories of our oldest African American citizens have not been faithfully told for all to hear. Those interviewed for this effort possess thousands of years of personal testimony. As we hear their stories of everyday life in Frederick for children and adults with laughter and tears, joys and sorrows, acceptance and discrimination, I hope we will share the emotion and the discomfort.
make me feel wonderful, wonderful. To know that there's people out here who still honor us even though we are of age, 90 years of age, and I thank God for my 90 years. Fantastic. That's the best thing I can say. It was just out of this world.
It was very good, very informative for everybody to see how segregation was back when I was a kid. And I'm so glad things have really changed for the better.
When I first came to Frederick, African Americans couldn't even go here. It was later on they let you sit in the balcony. The town has come a long way. This theater has come a long way. And I think it's attempted to be a service to the community, and I think it's just fine.
Well, I love how we all came together today as a community to celebrate the women and men in the film, to hear their stories together in this place that has such historic significance for the African American community. It's been a beautiful day.
Perhaps today, in some small way, we are making amends for our history, as we should all work to hear more Lions' tales.
Now don't go anywhere, and be sure to stick around. We have plenty more coming up on County Perspective. Welcome back to County Perspective. I'm your host, Brandon Rosa. As you know, we are now well into February, the month in which we celebrate Black History Month. As a part of this month's celebration, the Frederick County Public Libraries are offering several programs pertaining to Black history. Let's learn a little bit more about these events.
Well, Frederick County Public Libraries has been doing Black History Month programming for many years. Different years, there's been different amounts of it. Librarians love a commemorative month, so that there's always been a wide variety of different programming, some years more, some years less. This year, we have a great deal of Black History program. A large part of that comes out of our partnership with ARCH, which is our African American group here in the county. That has allowed us to expand our programming.
Working with Mary Mannix was probably 2 years ago. She called and wanted to co-sponsor a program with ARCH. We were thrilled to be a partner of the library, so we started out that way and have co-sponsored a number of presentations since. Our mission is to identify, collect, and preserve the history of African American histories in Frederick, and we want to be able to tell our story from our point of view. There's no other organization in the county that tells African American history in that way.
Black history is part of Frederick County history. It's a story which is not always told. It's one that we need to put special emphasis upon. Really, to tell any history is important to us in the Maryland room, but to enhance the story of those people whose stories are not regularly told, those people whose stories are more in the background, those people who aren't always necessarily overpopulating the major textbooks, put special emphasis on us. We just really feel it's important to tell everybody's story, but particularly to tell the story of people like African Americans whose stories have not been told as loud and as strong as they should be.
Oral history is extremely important, especially in our community. We want to be able to create something different from a museum experience. We want to be able to draw people in and have conversation, and that real conversation that we always talk about and never have.
Well, this February, again, as being Black History Month programming, there is a variety of programming. There are story times coming out of our children's department that relate to Black history themes and to Black history characters and Black history people throughout history. What we are doing in adult programming is there is a Black history genealogy program. That's a particular part of genealogy that can be harder to research. We have one program which is Growing Up in Urbana, which we are taking oral histories that David Key, who's the president of ARCH, did through the FCPL Memory Lab. David grew up in Urbana during a time when Urbana was much more rural. He also grew up in a time in Urbana when Urbana was predominantly white.
At that time, families knew each other, so my playground growing up was humongous. It was from Urbana to Frederick. So, and at that time, I knew almost every family in that area. The community of Urbana had a single Black family, probably when I was around 7th or 8th grade. So yeah, that was the only black family. And then of course, I live a mile outside of Urbana. But yeah, no one in Urbana, no Black people in Urbana other than that family. And many people today are not from here and have no idea about how things were in Frederick at the time. So.
We hope to continue our partnership with ARCH for many, many years to come in order to enhance both of our programmings, to enhance both of our audiences, and to make sure that everyone in Frederick County Public Libraries, even if they don't come to a program, if they walk through the door, they at least see the posters and are more aware of what ARCH is and more aware what the Maryland Room is. We are a system-wide resource, so even if you never come to Seaboro Arts, we are still here for you by email or phone. You can find out more about the Maryland Room, of course, at fcpl.org.
It's time to take a trip over to the Animal Control Center and make some new friends. Let's find out who's looking for a new home in this episode's featured pet.
This American Bulldog mix was adopted from FCAC as a puppy. Now, 5 years later, her owners were unable to keep her and brought her back to us so we could find her another loving home. Angel is currently on a diet and exercise plan to help her get down to a healthy weight. She's already lost 20 pounds. All she needs now is a workout buddy and a best friend. Visit Angel at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center, 1832 Rosemont Avenue.
Are you or someone you know looking to do something new and exciting? There are multiple county departments offering a multitude of classes, lessons, programs, promotions, and events for people of all ages to participate in. Let's take a look at a few of them. To find more events and programs, or for more information, log on to the county's webpage, frederickcountymd.gov. Now at the end of our show, we like to mention a few recent events, along with things our viewers should keep an eye out for in the upcoming weeks. March is Women's History Month. In honor of Women's History Month, Frederick County government invites you to join the Frederick at its Best proclamation ceremony on March 5th at 10:30 a.m. in the first floor hearing room of Winchester Hall. Women's History Month is a day to honor the many achievements of American women. The proclamation will be presented by County Executive Jan Gardner, other dignitaries, and members from the Frederick County Women's Commission. Women's History Month was declared by Congress in 1987. Frederick County Public Libraries will be hosting their annual Frederick Speaker Series on Thursday, February 28th from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Weinberg Center for the Arts. This month's speaker is American journalist, lawyer, and government advisor Ronan Farrow. Farrow has received numerous human rights awards and was awarded the Pulitzer Prize in 2018 for his expose of Harvey Weinstein that aided the kickstart of the #MeToo movement. Forbes magazine twice named him to their 30 under 30 most influential people in law and policy. Tickets are available for purchase in advance at weinbergcenter.org. If you would like more information about Frederick Speaks, visit FCPL.org. That's it for this episode of County Perspective. Don't forget to follow Frederick County on social media in order to keep up to date on important news and events. We'll see you next time for a fresh look from a county perspective.